All right. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Matt Kaminsky. I actually work with Amplifund. Amplifund, we work with Kalamazoo County. Really, it's their grant management system. So it's manages everything from the application portal, which is mostly what we'll be talking through today, all the way through to if we end up being a recipient, you would be given a recipient Amplifund account to actually report back to the county. Um, so there are a couple more people in the waiting room. Um, Wanted to just kind of walk through that application process, how to reach out to support, just basic navigation. And then I'll leave it to Willa and Mary to talk through any of the specifics in the application forms, what you'll be filling out, what they're looking for, and answers. Um, so first and foremost, when there's going to be a link, and I guess Willa or Mary, do you know where they can find those links? I know that I believe there was an email sent out, but is there anywhere else like on your website that they could find these?
Yeah, the links are all on the housing department website, and I'll put that link in the chat.
Perfect. So when you click on links, I know Mary had mentioned there's three applications this year, or three different opportunities that you can apply for. I just picked the creative project as an example to run through. You'll get to this Amplifund application page. So if you don't have an account, you'll have like this login button here, but up here you can see there's a few places you can click. You can actually click here to apply. You can save the opportunity. Once you create an Amplifund applicant account, you can actually just save it, and it'll be in a list that you can go back to and decide if you want to apply for it. You can download this form as well into a PDF. Ask for help. If you click on that, there's some helpful guides there, and then I'll also show you how to reach out to our Amplifund support. But this is a good kind of walkthrough guide as well, kind of walk you through what we're going to go through today. Um, so that is all on this page. Um, Also, you have save and apply button down here. All of these different sections and fields are just have some basic information about the opportunity that you can read through and again decide if you want to apply. But let's go ahead and apply and actually create an account. So if I go ahead and click apply here, it's going to prompt me to create an account because I don't have an account yet. Some of you who maybe already do have an account, all you have to do is log in using your regular Amplifund credentials. So if I want to register, or if I'm new, I can register. Internet is syncing this morning. But really on the registration, email is just going to be things like you just have to have put in an email address. So I can put in, I'll just create a fake one. Password. Prior you first name,
First name.
last name. You can put in all this other information as well if you'd like. It's not required. You will need to have a organization name. You can also just check here. It might just be the same as above, and it'll bring down all of that. Here, for the organization, it does require a address on the organization information. Also, an organization type, I believe you could just keep that as other. It's just a required data point, but I don't think, if you want to specify, you certainly can, but I don't think that it's super relevant for what the county's looking for. City, zip code. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and register. It'll take you to this agreement here. Scroll down, click I accept, and now you'll actually have an Amplifund account. So like I mentioned, now from here I can save an opportunity. And again, it's just something you can come back and reference when you go log in, or maybe if you have multiple Amplifund accounts, you can come back and reference an application. Here, there's a little drop down where you can just get, that basic account information that you just filled out, change your password, log out. If you do end up becoming a recipient, then this credentials in this account will also turn into your Amplifund recipient credentials as well. So it'll be the same login as well for that. Let's go ahead and click.
You right there.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and please, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or come off mute. Happy to answer live. So let's go ahead and apply and go through. So there's going to be these different stages here, and it'll give you a little check mark. Once it's complete, you put in all the relevant information. You have to put in the application name. Mary Willow, is there any specific format you would want them to put that in, like their organization name, for that application name, any specific format that helps you, or is anything okay?
I think organization name is fine.
Okay, perfect. And then you do need to put in an amount requested as well. Just to kind of note here, there is an award ceiling and floor as well. So for this one, it'll give you an error. Please adjust the requested amount to be over the award floor of $100,000. So if I put in $200,000, for example, that'll fix that. And I have you re-enter some of that information for the application. Okay. Then I can mark as complete or save and continue. Marking as complete, again, it'll just kind of give you that checkbox for it. You can also, go back and edit any of that information. So clicking through, click save and continue. It'll naturally take me through like the next one, which would be like the application forms. I can also click around there. It's still loading. But I can also click from up here too. So these are the application forms. So these are kind of the custom forms that the team had created. And this is really looking for the relevant application information.
Log out and come back.
So we can, let's look at each one. And Marion, please, I'll pause whenever you guys want to go through any specific ones. I go through the form. So these forms you'll go through and click, you'll see these ones are a lot of just yes, no, not applicable. If anything is like an asterisk, that means it's required. There's different types of format. This is, just a multi-line text box where you can put in more of a narrative response. And then, a lot of these are just pretty straightforward, yes or no. You can also upload files here. So if, this question here, if yes to this question, then it'll want you'll need to upload narrative details of this status project. There are, I don't foresee any, any issues with like uploading any different file types, probably something like this might just be like a Word document, for example. We do have a list of approved file types, but it's a pretty long list. But if you do run into any issues uploading, just ask our support team. If you need to upload multiple documents as well, it'll be one at a time, but if you do have multiple, you can do it as a zip file. So that's one way to kind of get around that. I can save and continue, or I can mark it as complete once I finish it. If I save and continue, it's just going to take me to the next form. I'll also go back just to look. Now the status of this one is in progress. So that's the basic gist of the forms. Again, you can do them in any order you'd like, but it will naturally, like if you start with this top one and you save and continue, it's just going to go down this list in this order of the forms. So I can come back to this whenever you need. You can also download your application. So maybe if you finish it or haven't, you can download this whole application as a PDF. I'll pause here. Will and Mary, were there any specific forms you wanted me to cover? Or anything you wanted to emphasize to the group?
Could we go to the multifamily application and go through the pro forma and rent worksheets?
Yes.
Yeah, let me go grab the multifamily example. Sorry, I just need to get the link for that. And I can run through that application. $2025. Here we go. Okay. All right, so go ahead and click apply for this one. Kept me logged in. Actually, let's see if I can just, yeah. Okay. Sorry, Willa, which form in this one did we want to cover?
So I think it's the project information.
Project information. And I'll let you whichever fields you want to emphasize or go through. But again, it seems
Yeah, so I just want to make sure everybody who is applying under the multifamily category, we need to have 2 forms uploaded that are really important, and they're available on the funding page on our website. The first is the rent distribution worksheet. And that's going to show us the number of units you have, the type, and then the area median income that's being targeted with those units. So you can download that form from our website and upload it onto into the application. I think if you scroll down, you can find, yeah, it's in all those upload
right
spaces.
here.
Oh, those are the letters of support.
Or uploaded timeline.
So where we have seen the most questions in past years is around like what is a pro forma. And so if you are not familiar with a pro forma, we have a pro forma template that's also available on the funding page on the website. And you can use that as as your template for that. So we do need to see a pro forma and the rent distribution worksheet for every single multifamily project that is putting in an application.
And I think those were conditional formats. So you might find too, like some of these are conditional. So if I clicked yes and then this upload, you know, this prompt to upload the proof of land assembly put up. So you'll notice that too in some applications at some point in the application, if you know, depending on your answer, there might be an additional field that pops up.
So are there any questions on the Amplifund portal before we move on to application questions?
Yeah, I saw there were some folks on like how to just log in. At the top of this call, I know some folks came in a little bit later in this recording, that it's covered in this recording, but once you get to, you know, the link that was sent out via email or on the county's website, it'll take you to this screen here. Here I have all my information here, but if you know don't have an Amplifund account, it'll just say log in. Once you click apply, there's an apply button. It'll prompt you to log in or register. There will be a register button, and then you just put in the required fields. Basically, you know, your email and password. Your email is going to be your Amplifund username. The password could be whatever you want it to be, and then there will be some organization information that you'll be required to fill out. And then from there, log in and then you know, kind of pick up where we left off here, start to apply.
And just if you have not done so, please sign in with your name and organization in the chat. This is a mandatory training. So if you're putting in an application, we want to be sure that we have an account that you were present.
I'll put in the chat our support email address. I'm sure it'll also be sent out when follow up with this recording. Let me just pull that up real quick. But if you need anything, you know, having any technical issues, you can certainly reach out to our support team, or even questions about just navigating the application as well. So feel free to reach out to them. We also do have a support site where you can submit a ticket. There is recipient and applicant training. This applicant series is probably going to be the most relevant for this group. So I will go ahead and put that link in the chat too. And again, you can send that in a follow-up. But a lot of what we just covered here today, how to register, and then going through various application portals.
Okay. Are there any other questions on Amplifund? All right, we can start taking questions on the application, general application questions. If you want to raise your hand and then I'll call on you. No question. Oh, Jessica.
I had sent an email and I think I just wanted a little more clarification. We're on the supportive services side, and the final page is asking for the additional number of people that will help with your service or program. And I wanted to clarify, is that additional from what we've already mentioned in the application? Or do you want us to list everything out right there?
Like how, so you're asking for funding for a program.
Yep.
And how much will the funds that you're asking for from us, how many additional households or people will the funding from the county allow you to serve?
Okay, it's asking how many additional people we will be able to serve if awarded the funding.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Sorry about that. I understand now.
Okay, Andrea?
Yeah, my question is just a real small technical under asking for the purpose of the grant. One of the last questions is name, title, qualifications of key staff and volunteers to ensure success. What kind of qualifications are you looking for? Like education level, years in the field, those kinds of things?
Yeah, just a brief one
Okay.
or two.
And then we have several volunteers that would be part of that. We have a name for that volunteer, but I don't want to name out the volunteers. Is that okay? Just to say the number of volunteers and what we call them, their title. Is that
Yes.
sufficient? Okay.
Mhm.
You can just name them, name one, name two, name three. You don't have to put their full name. That's not necessary.
Okay, thanks.
That's
Yeah.
a good question. Or I wanted to just pop in, with if you have multiple users that need to be a part of that application, account information. So again, if you're creating an account, don't have one established, click on account information. It's going to take you to this page where, again, you'll have all that information you put in. You can see what applications you've saved. And then you can also go to users. You can add a user. Again, it's just going to require you to put in, an email, first name, last name. And then I can invite them. I can also assign a role, basically as an editor or an administrator. It has a little information, but basically, and administrators can create, edit, and delete and withdraw applications, set up and edit accounts. Editors can edit and view applications. So if you don't want them applying for anything, you just set them up as an editor. If you want them to have like the same admin access that you would have when you create the account, you can put them in as an administrator. And then once you go ahead and click invite, they'll be sent an email to log in and they'll have access. So thanks, Andrew. That was a good reminder to run through that for anybody who has multiple people in these applications.
One of the questions on the application is if you have any delinquent taxes, you may not be indebted to the county and request funds. And so before you hit send, you better get down to the treasurer's office and pay delinquent taxes if you have anyone. If you have delinquent taxes, hit send and we find it, you are disqualified and there's no recourse to that. So make sure all your organizations that are under that tax ID number have their taxes current. Nate Browning?
Hello, I have a couple of questions. The first one is, how long are AMI restrictions required to be in place if there is a limit? And is there like a minimum amount? That's the first question.
20 years. So we require a 20-year compliance period.
Okay. And the second question is it possible that in the creative project or really any of the categories that an amount less than the floor amount could be awarded depending on how things shake out?
If you're requesting a low amount, we would really request that you make an application to philanthropy, local philanthropy. It's really difficult for a teeny tiny department. We have 2 people plus a compliance person in our department to administer these teeny tiny grants. So we would request if you have a small amount that you need that you go and apply to local philanthropy.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
What I got a question. For the taxes that's owed to the business, if you're on a current payment plan, does that matter?
I'd like them current. You may not be indebted to the county and get more county funds. We do not do that. And we appreciate payment plans, but you may not be indebted to the county.
There's another question in the chat. For multifamily, what is the scope you're looking for in terms of uploading a timeline? Could you, so the timeline just can be pretty basic, like, but we want to know for new development, what your projected timeline will be from getting funds to getting certificate of occupancy.
We would like these projects to be pretty ready, site plan, you have your funding. So we're just going to fill the scope. If you're 5 years from starting, you might want to go in a different funding round if you're not close to being ready to start your project. We also know that housing takes time. So you know what, it's not obviously going to be done this year, but we'd like you to start in the near future.
So older than the IRS and older than the county is two different people, correct?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Jessica?
As far as the timeline goes, are you looking for this project to like the funds to be utilized within a certain time frame?
We'd like you to draw down within 2 years. And so if your project isn't close, please wait for the December round or wait for a different round. We want our money to be deployed. We're in a housing crisis and we don't fund ideas. And so the projects that we fund and score should have substantial fundraising done, and we are just filling the gap for affordability. And so if you just have an idea or you think you're going to do X, Y, or Z, you need to be well into the process to be scored high in this round.
Understood. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the application?
If there's no other questions, we'd like to thank you for your time. The rest of the process is the commission is going to appoint a subcommittee of commissioners to score the projects, and we'll bring them back for full board approval. And you're always welcome to attend any public meeting. I would discourage you from working directly with the commissioners and trying to influence. That is not a fair process. And so we think that the process that we have set out is fair and transparent. And we will make a recommendation at a public meeting, and then you're certain willing to speak at a public meeting. But if you're chosen or not chosen, I would encourage you to thank the commissioners for their time and deliberation for your project. But I would strongly discourage folks from lobbying commissioners directly on your project.
And I also just wanted to reiterate for these applications, these all have to be housing related projects because it's housing millage funds. So anything that you put in needs to be tied to housing.
I think the public meeting will probably be the first meeting in August. So we need to constitute the committee of commissioners. They will be picked at the next meeting. And then we need to score them. Then we need to make our recommendation. And then we need to have that. So that'll probably be the first meeting in August. So we will send that out to everyone. If you have questions in the meantime, or you're struggling on what to do, me and Willa are more than happy to give technical assistance. And so if you email us, we'll email you back directly. We're open and available to give you feedback. Once you hit send, then that's your final application, unless it's well before the deadline. Obviously, you can go back and edit it. But Once you hit send and the deadline's closed, then there's no more opportunity, and then you can wait until the December round. Any other questions? Well, if there's no other questions, thank you so much for your time and your attention at the meeting. And it is recorded. And so we'll put the recording on kellcounty.com/housing if you need to look at it again. Liz, Kamir, we also do projects under Beauty Laguna. Elizabeth, Kamir, Crampton, please add us to the list. Absolutely. Or you can get any of the stuff directly on our website, kellcounty.gov/housing. And if you need a copy of our housing study, we just updated it with the Upjohn Institute, and that is also on our website. Any other questions? If not, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.